Well, present context of governance in Nepal. The main target of this presentation is to analyze the present context of governance in Nepal. In the last video, I had defined the concept of governance system and what types of governance systems are prevalent in the world. We discussed about the monarchic system of governance, military system of governance, federalism, unitary system of governance, and so on in the last classes. And in this class, we are going to explain about the present context of governance in Nepal. It means that Nepal is practicing what type of governance at present. We already know that before 2062 movement, before 2063's interim constitution, we were adopting the unitary system of governance. Everything was inherent in the center during that time. Every decisions were made from the center in the past time in Nepal. When our constitution, interim constitution was declared, it has categorized Nepal as federal democratic republic country. It was trying to establish Nepal in the line of federal democratic republic nation. And it is the constitution of Nepal 2072, which in its article number 4, it describes that Nepal is an independent, indivisible, sovereign, secular, inclusive, democratic, socialism-oriented, federal democratic republic state. This is what our constitution says about the governance system of Nepal. It means that our governance system is guided by inclusive democratic. Inclusiveness is the process where we include or where we participate the people who were dominated, exploited, cheated, and looted in the past time. In the past time, Nepal and in other countries also, the people of margin, they are called downtrodden people. They were dominated, they were exploited, they were discriminated. And if we include such people, that is called inclusion. Inclusion doesn't mean just involving rich class people, higher class officers in decision making. Inclusion is the process of involving the poor, downtrodden, marginalized proletariat in the decision-making process of the nation. That is called inclusion. So Nepal is guided by the mantra or sutra of inclusion. Then democratic norms. We are also adopting democratic norms, and our economy is socialism oriented. Socialism is the process where state and private sectors both collaborate, coordinate for the betterment of the economy of nation. And federalism, we already discussed about federalism in the last class. Federalism means the nation is divided into different parts and types of government. There are different levels of government. There is federal level government, provincial government, and local level government. So federalism is nothing but the division of state authority into different levels, that is called. So this is what our context of governance is. It means that we are adopting federalism, we are adopting democratic system of governance, we are adopting inclusion and participation, we are also adopting a democratic system of governance, we are also adopting secularism, and mainly these no matter which form of governance we are applying, either we are applying unitary system or governance system, it doesn't matter. The main governance system that has been continued from the past is parliamentary governance system. In the past time, when our context was guided by governance system, at that time we had unitary governance system. Even in unitary governance system, there was simultaneous step of parliamentary governance system. In unitary system of governance, also there was the vigorous focus of parliament. And similarly, where our country departure from that unitary system of governance to the federal system of governance, parliamentary system of governance has still been continued, because we have everything in parliament. We choose the member of parliament through the election, and they come to that Sangsad Bhavan and they choose prime minister, president. They also have power to use motion of no confidence and motion of confidence. Their power can eliminate the prime minister from the post, and they also have the power of impeachment. Impeachment is called Mahaviyog. So that is why in the context of Nepal, rather than president, rather than council of ministers, the parliament is more powerful. It is also called legislature. It has upper house and lower houses. And and other system of governance of Nepal is guided by regulation, management, mobilization, and service deliveries. Another significant factors. The national security is also managed by governance system. There is also disaster management where our state helps assist to the people who were affected from disaster. It also does some pre-steps to control the disasters. And another significant aspect, financial management, is also going in a very fantastic manner. Regarding this, there is fiscal transfer from the state to the provinces and local bodies, because they are not independent at present. We are just practicing federalism since 2072 after the promulgation of the constitution. That is why it is going on through trial and error method. We are learning each time. We cannot say that there is pure 100% federalism in Nepal. At least 50%, 60% have been done. It will reach to 100% slowly and gradually. And in the context of Nepal, though federalism is going in a very well manner, it is going on a very fantastic manner. We are practicing federalism. However, there are some problems also. We cannot say that we are applying federalism in a very well manner, because there exist problems regarding the application of federalism. Federalism is the good concept. It is the best concept prevalent in most of the countries in the world. But at the same time, there occurs some problems in the context of our country, because we are going through trial and error method. Problems occurs, trials occurs, whirlpool occurs, typhoon occurs, ups and down occurs in the life of state also. When ups and downs occurs in the life of state, when problems occurs in the life of state, then we find new ways of solution. The problems lead another step to the solution. And that is why when we face tragedy or different types of problems in our life, we become more reformed person, we become more revised person. The similar formula can be applied in the life of state also. So state had problems, but these problems can be eradicated, these problems can be elevated, these problems can be solved. And what are the problems of the governance of Nepal? Let's discuss on those states. So governing via audience, this is called audience, means adhyadesh. It is called adhyadesh. And this audience is also necessary for the development of nation, because when the session or adhivesan is not going in parliament, at that time the government makes some law in the absence of parliament's decision. Parliament doesn't make law, parliament doesn't make ordinance. Parliament makes different types of acts, regulation, bylaws, but this ordinance is made by the government. So when government makes law or ordinance, that is equivalent to the law that is made by parliament. So this is one of the this aspect is going in Nepal in a very negative manner. The last time the government has promulgated one ordinance, that audience was not for the betterment of people. That audience was not for the betterment of national development, national security management, good governance, and so on. That was centered to divide the political parties, and that audience was declared by the government for at least, I think, for 20 days or less than 20 days. So it is good. I don't mean to say that audience is not good, audience is not fruitful. Yes, audience is fruitful. When there is no parliament, when there is no legislature, when the session is not going there, there at that time also we need some law. At that time also the government needs to issue some directives, and that time audience is very pivotal, significant, and inevitable. But in case of Nepal, many times government declares audience that is too much controversial. Last time during the time of KPOL also, that citizenship ordinance was declared, and it was boycotted. It was dismissed by the verdict of the court. So this is one of the problems. And another problem that occurred, that I see in the context of present federalism, in the context of Nepal, is power struggle between three bodies of the government, like the local level, provincial level, and federal level. They have some disputes. We can take example in the like in the central level, there is the government led by Nepalese Congress, and there is also inclusion of other smaller parties. At the same time, uh, in Madhya Pradesh, there is the government of those Madhya-based parties, and this is also because in central level there is one parties, in provincial level there is another party, and in local level different types of parties are ruling the nation. They are just governing, and the parties are different. So these differences has created problem, because the center decides one thing and another thing is done by the local bodies. Local bodies are also given responsibilities and accountability to create laws. They have their own decision. That is why sometimes this decision doesn't match with each other. At that time, there is there is some debate between the different types of government. This is another problem. Then another is constitutional bench, guided sometimes. Constitutional bench is guided sometimes, is guided by vested interest. That Samvidhanic Ijlas, that is in the judiciary section, that is also guided by some vested interest. It means that the lawyers, the judges are also sometimes playing some very insignificant roles. Their decisions are sometimes controversial. Even the judiciary has problem in Nepal. Different types of international organization has exposed that there is no 100% application of rule of law even by the judges. So this is another problem, that constitutional bench has also problem in the context of Nepal. The leaders of political parties possess power over parliament. We know that parliament is independent, but in parliament, the political party's leader possesses power. In the parliament, the member of parliament or sabhasas, they are not they are not they are not acting freely with their own logic and independency, but they are guided by the political leaders. Whatever the party leader says, whatever the party president or chairman says, they follow the same thing. They don't have their own decisions in the context of Nepal. Though we know that they are our representatives, they come from different places of Nepal, and they have to pinpoint their own issues, but they are guided by the vested interest of the political party leader. Whatever political party says, they blindly follow instead of acting on their own, because they can be boycotted or dismissed from the party. That is why they are very afraid of their post. So this is another problem. Then there is poor public trust. People don't trust to the government's governance. People always criticize the government. When there was KP, everyone criticized. Many of the people criticized, and they welcome Sherbahadur Deva. And when Sherbahadur Deva went to governance system, everyone criticizes. Even Balin Shah can be taken as example. He was very popular during the time of election, but nowadays he's going to be criticized. People criticize over him because he is spending budget, or he is spending amount to establish some statues of singers instead of solving the problems. People don't have oil in their house, they don't have tomato, they don't have oil, they don't have rice. So we have to solve those minimum problems instead of just discussing about that very broader issues. So smaller issues should be solved at first. This is another problem of Nepal. And there is high expectation of people. That is also problem. People expect too much from the government. That is also a problem. Then there is inaccessibility of people in governance mechanism. People don't have access to governance mechanism. Everything is decided from inside the door. Then corruption, malpractice, tokenism, nepotism, and favoritism are also another problems. Weak accountability, poor transparency, and lack of people's involvement, that is also another problem. Political groupism, antagonism, tussle instead of harmony. The political parties are not coordinating with each other. They just blame each other. They just scold, criticize, and badly blame each other. So their language is also not good. So it is also another problem. In this way, this presentation therefore finally comes to the conclusion that the present context of governance in Nepal is going firstly in a very democratic manner, in a very federal manner, in a very inclusive, because many inclusive rights are given to different types of marginalized people like Dalit women, female Madhisis. That is that is very noteworthy and praiseworthy. But at the same time, despite the advantages, despite the benefits, there also got some very insignificant aspects. They are very much problematic, and these problems, I hope this will be solved later on. And in another class, I'll come with the solution and how to solve the problems of governance in Nepal. Thank you.